everyone, John Ramdeen here, and this is FNNE, your daily dose of combat sports news. Robin Black and I will do our best to guide you through some of the hot topics in the game. In the news today, Bellator delivers fireworks, one of the hottest prospects in mixed martial arts shines, and a UFC vet was forced out of his bout at World Series of Fighting on Saturday. On Saturday night, Fight Network was home of World Series of Fighting 19. Ultimate Fighter 3 alum Matt Hamill was scheduled to meet Brazilian bomber Thiago Silva, but illness forced the wrestler off the card at the last minute. In for Hamill was 8-1 fighter Teddy Holder, who surprisingly knocked out Silva at the 2-minute mark of the opening round. The promotion featured the lightweight championship bout between undefeated rising star Justin Gaethje and the battle-tested challenger Luis Palomino. In what many in the industry are calling Fight of the Year, the two battled it out in an entertaining and risky brawl. The end came in round 3 as the grudge pupil stopped the Peruvian with leg kicks and punches to remain the champion and undefeated. On Friday night, Thackerville, Oklahoma played host to Bellator MMA, and the main event featured a rematch for the bantamweight title. Reigning champion Joe Warren controlled 33-year-old Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Marcus Galvao and looked to have the right strategy to keep his title. However, the submission fighter found his moment in round 2, securing a knee bar that forced the verbal tap. 7-1 in his past 8, Galvao becomes the new 135-pound champion. And don't forget to tune in at 10 a.m. for Fight Network's preview show. John Pollock, Robin Black, and I will break down all the action, including the main event between Chad Mendes and Ricardo Lamas. And then at 11 a.m., FN brings you the preliminary action, Gray Maynard and Liz Carmouche on that card, and then make the switch over to TSN 4 at 1 p.m. for all of your main card action, including that featherweight matchup in the main event. Joined by my good friend, Mr. Robin Black. A rare weekend off for the UFC, but there was tons of mixed martial arts action. We were in Laval, Quebec on Friday night. Bellator went down, and live on Saturday right here on FN, Justin Gaethje looking awesome, getting things done in a fight many people call Fight of the Year. I know it's early, but how important is it that the World Series of Fighting hold on to a talent like Justin Gaethje? Now 14-0, this guy is a showstopper. This is the type of fighter that the casual fans love to watch. He's reckless, and that's part of the appeal. But you know, an athlete doesn't get into this game to say, you know what, I want to be a part of the World Series of Fighting. The goal is to get to the Ultimate Fighting Championship, and if you're a star, that is your goal. But for the World Series of Fighting, do they try to hold on to this guy? Do they throw money at him? Or do they just say, you know what, we're going to be a springboard? When people say, well, where did this guy fight before? Oh, he fought in the World Series. Where did this guy fight before? Fought in the World Series of Fighting. Establish yourself as a breeder for top-level talent in the future.
Yeah, it's tricky. You might have to admit that's what you are eventually, because it's really tough to hold on to a guy like this. He gets it. This guy gets it. He doesn't just win. He wins exciting. He said that Palomino was finally somebody that was going to engage him, and he was going to have the kind of fight that he wanted. He had exactly that, and he gets it. He understands that you have to be remarkable, and not just remarkable in winning, but remarkable in staying in people's memories, attracting their attention, having people tell each other, you got to see this kid fight. You have to. That's what he's doing. It's hard to hold on to those guys. I mean, can you throw money at him? Can you say, we're going to build all of our sizzle around you? They got to try.
Also, Friday night, Joe Warren loses his 135-pound championship in a rematch against Marcus Galvao. Although Joe Warren was winning the fight, just got caught. That's the nature of the game. Is Joe Warren similar in the sense that Justin Gaethje can be a star for World Series of Fighting? Joe Warren can be a star, even if he's not competing as a mixed martial artist. Justin Gaethje, I think 25 or 26. Joe Warren getting close to 40. So you would imagine that, you know, he sees the end in sight, but I think he can have a great role with, you know, you look at Viacom, he can be a part of Bellator, and he potentially could be a part of TNA. So how important is it that they hold on to a guy like this?
Yeah, you hit that one direct. I mean, they're the exact same scenario for World Series of Fighting and for Bellator, and you have to. I mean, if you're gonna keep losing guys to the UFC, it becomes this cycle of having to create a star. He's gone. It's so hard to have people care about some of these guys. The Conors McGregors and the Ronda Rouseys of the world, and maybe the Justin Gaethjes, are super rare. So you can't just make a new one. You can't just find a new one. You got to keep them.
But are people asking the question? Do people say Conor McGregor where did he come from? Because we all know that we've been showing Conor McGregor fights on this channel for a long time, fought for Cage Warriors, but are people saying, oh, Cage Warriors, that's where Conor McGregor, let's tune into Cage Warriors to see the future Conor McGregors, or do people even care? Do they see the UFC as, okay, well, he fought his entire career in the UFC because we see that he now fights in the UFC?
Yeah, the trick for me, I think, is the amount of consumption you have to do to get down there. So you're a real big fight fan, you watch all the UFCs. That's like 48 weekends a year, you know? So when you got one weekend off, do you go, well, there's no UFC, I'm gonna watch World Series of Fighting. There's so much fighting, there's so much global fighting. Do you get any deeper than the world's biggest? It's a tough,
I would think so, because, you know, I have a lot of friends that are baseball fans, that are football fans, and of course they have their team. Every weekend when their team is on, they are watching. But if their team isn't playing, they're going to watch whatever game is on because they're a fan of the sport. Yes, you root for your team, but at the end of the day, you're a fan of the sport. And I think a lot of, like for myself, I grew up as a BJ Penn fan and Minotauro fan. I make sure I watch those fights, but I try to watch everything. Even if they're not fighting, I'm tuning in for whatever reason. And I think a lot of fans are like that. They just love the sport of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, people stick now with the things they love. There aren't as many people sort of at the buffet of entertainment. I'll have a little bit of NASCAR. I'll have a little bit of movies.
However, you look at Conor McGregor, that's a destination. Ronda Rousey, sure, you're not a part of it, but you want to be part of the spectacle. Everybody's getting together at person X's house. There's going to be nachos and beer. Most people aren't even watching the fights. The fights are going on, and everybody's just mingling, talking to everybody about everything but the fight. So, but it's a destination because, you know, it's one of these things that people, it's just like Pacquiao Mayweather. People want to be a part of the energy. Yeah,
have you ever followed boxing in any way? Are you aware of it? Do you know what it is? Well, if so, you're going to watch Mayweather and Pacquiao. You're gonna. It's a big, huge event. Yeah, and when you can create that kind of scenario in fights, people stop and pay attention. But you can't always do that. It's tricky. It's hard to do. They're really doing a good job of promoting the Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo. I mean, people are pumped for that. So it's working, but you can't do it every weekend.
Conor McGregor, clearly a star, but when you look at martial arts abilities, Demetrius Johnson, equally as good as Conor McGregor. Why is nobody showing this guy love? Anyways, that's it for us. Don't go anywhere. More Fight News Now Extra is still coming your way.